Hey, it's James here from eBassGuitar, and at eBassGuitar we help beginner to intermediate bass players push their bass playing to that advanced level. And so many of our students are massive fans of one bass player in particular. So for the second part of our Reacts and Analyzes series, where I take apart some of the greatest bass lines in the world, we're gonna look at the Beatles bass line with Paul McCartney on bass of Come Together. So just before we hit the breakdown, I'd love to ask you guys, what is your favorite Paul McCartney bass line, or what other Beatles bass line would you like to see me break down in these video series? Please let me know in the comments below. So let's get straight down to it. Ah, that is just such an incredible bass line. As you can hear, this bass line really is the central hook, which is why it's one of my all-time favorite Paul McCartney bass lines here. When I was originally putting this video together, or the video I wanted to originally react and analyze to, was the video that they did just before they split up on top of the, I forgot what it's called, that building in New York, their final concert. Because looking at people playing live is really, really helpful, because you'll get more insights into how they do things. And the first thing that I clocked when I listened to it is that I'd actually been fingering it not in the most optimal way when I played it. So this is how I play the bass line. But when I watched McCartney play it on that live version there, which incidentally I'm not using because the bass is just really indistinct and it will sound so much better if you listen to this version here. It's so much clearer. But I could see McCartney doing this. I don't know why, it just hadn't occurred to me to put that incredible slide in there. But the reason this bass line for me is so great, it's so rich harmonically, because we're in the key of D minor, and he's making a real thing of that minor third, which is the high F up there. So two Ds there, like that, and then into the G, the A like that, and then we have this big jump to the F there, and then back to the D there. So it's just this really rich bass line. Also, talking of tone as well, you can see the basses that they're using live as well when you watch live videos. And you can see it's the classic McCartney setup of the Hofner Beatle bass. So kind of to get somewhere close to this today, I've got a P bass here with some flat wound strings. Let's roll the tone right off there. If I wanted to go super authentic, I could grab a pick as well. If you want to get that kind of crusty there, you can put some muting there. So it's possible to get close to the tone, but if you want that real authentic thing, make sure you grab a Hofner bass with some flat wounds on. Anyway, let's carry on. Let me pick up something else in here. So we are in the key of D minor, and the typical scale that we'd harmonize D minor with is the D natural minor here, like this. Okay, so root, second, flat third, fourth, fifth, flattened sixth, and flattened seventh, and the octave like that. And that will work really nicely with the rest of the chords that come up here. But the really interesting thing is, I always urge you to start listening to the other parts in the song. Listen to other musicians. And there's two things that I want to pull out here. So particularly the harmonic thing is, if you listen to George Harrison's guitar part, or he's playing something like that old rock and roll thing there. And what's going on is he's going from the fifth to the major sixth like that. And that gives this very slight clash with the rest of the harmony that's implied from this bass line. It sounds great to my ears, but isn't typically what you would expect. And the other thing at this point I would love to get you to listen at is listen to Ringo. I just find his drumming really inspired on this. And he's got doing, rather than playing a groove that you could, well, it's not swinging, he's actually doing this thing around the tongue. And when I watched the live video, which I urge you to watch too, you can see to get that sound, he's got rags on the drum skins as well to really deaden them off. And for me, that's an integral part of this sound, and it's unexpected sound too. But let's carry on. This chord change here, and you can hear McCartney kind of hitting this third again in his bass line like that. So on the D minor, he's going D to the F up there, okay, but on this one we go to the A chord, which is the 5. He's hitting the minor third, which is a C, but you can kind of hear that in the bass line there, sliding into it. It's really, really, really nice, really inspired. So this is A, and then it breaks on the G like that. So chords 4 and chords 5 are being used there, which you'd typically expect. Yeah, just listen also to the rest of the band. You can hear the harmony vocal part coming in there too. It's really, there's so much to this, and the vocal effects, it's really spooky, really eerie, but all the time that bass line's right at the center of it. Okay, and then we break into this little chorus section, which is so, so cool. And what that is chord 6, the B minor, come together, A, G, like that. So B minor, A, G, A, like that. So just really from this dun, gung, 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 we go to the pumping eighths thing, this really rocky thing. So effective. Okay, so there's a little bass fill in there. Okay, so subtle, but very, very cool at the same time. God, I nearly missed that. So we're going from the F there, which we've already covered there, to the G. Okay, brilliant. What I love also is, I'll talk about it in a sec, because yeah, just make sure you listen to that. I'm sure it's absolutely deliberate, that really long G at the end of the chorus like that. But so what I was going to say earlier is I just love the restraint on this, because there's so much space in this that McCartney could be filling all over the place, but he's kept it so solid and so fundamental, which just love. But we've hit this solo section here. So it starts off with the Rhodes, the Fender Rhodes solo, which is the kind of piano-y sound thing, and then we go into the guitar solo. But he's just going for the straight 8 rock thing, like that. Just revel in the beauty for me of that, because that groove for me is so simple, but just feels amazing when it's played well. So don't ever underestimate the simplicity of this stuff at times. do this all. You could add your own bass fills in there. Oh, D minor pentatonic will work great across that. So totally what you would expect there. It's actually quite a long song. It's 4 minutes 20 long, but let's carry on into the last section. This is the outro, the final part of the song, and again, I love McCartney's Restraint. Got a bit of a guitar solo going over the top, but all he's doing is based on D minor. And he's just going down to a C sharp, like a chromatic thing. Hammering on, I imagine. So there's so much you can just do with that. That simplicity I absolutely love of this track. So for me, this is up there as McCartney as his best, his most creative. The Beatles out there, most out there, the most creative. This is just so cool. Anyway, if you've enjoyed this lesson, I would love to ask you, or this video series, I'd love to ask you to jump over to eBassGuitar.com and check out the Basslab Plus. The Basslab Plus is my step-by-step program where I help beginners to intermediates push their bass playing to their advanced level and play things that they never ever thought were possible. So please make sure you check out the program. It's a full step-by-step syllabus. And what's even better is you can join completely free for 14 days by using that cheeky link which is in the description below. Anyway, I've been James from eBassGuitar.com. Don't forget to let me know what other songs you would like me to cover in this Reacts and Analyzes series in the comments below. Cheers, I'll catch you next time.